Okay, it's a day later here, and what we're going to do is we're going to add some blues to her face, and then we'll see where we are. We'll see what it looks like we need to do to it next. Haven't really made up my mind until I see the results here. I do want to see that it's showing up. Yeah, I do want to pre-wet her forehead. Now that's quite a bit of water there. So I'm going to pull some of it up, but I just want a real soft edge up through here. This needs to be darker, and I've got cerulean right here. I've already run a little test over in one spot. So, and this is just, sometimes I mix cerulean with white. This is just pure cerulean. Again, you see a lot of little strokes going on here, but they're just barely touching the paper. I'm not blending. I'm just pushing the paint around. Okay, so that's a little too much blue right there. I'll just squeeze it out and suck it up. Okay, I think I need a little more blue right in there. Okay, so now I'm going to use pretty watered down paint here. And I'm pretty much just getting back into, oh dear, that really, there's a little place there that I should have had some warm color in and I didn't. I made this spot a little too small. Well, we'll think about it. So see, I put color down and now I'm just going to pull up however much I need to pull up until I see what I want to see there. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. So this is dry paper. Oh, except right up here, I forgot that was wet. So I'm squeezing the brush out again, and I'm just pulling up the amount that I need to pull up. I just want that to be cool. That's making the forehead recede a little too much. I may need to put a little more overall color back there. We'll see. Okay, so let's just keep going. So some of these areas are darker than other areas. There's a shadow that comes under these glasses that I didn't get in yet. I'm just now seeing things that I didn't notice yesterday. Interior of that ear. And I'm not coming quite as far out with the blue. See, I've got the red coming this far out. I'm just putting the blue in the more recessive areas, the darker areas, I should say. Here's a little shadow that comes up above the jawline. And then here, it's down like that. And then we need a little bit more shadow coming this way. And then this whole area needs to get a little bluer. So I'm just going to pull some of that down for now. And I'm going to soften this edge right here. And I don't think that's too much blue at all right there. I may have to add more reds in it because it probably needs to go darker. But it's not too much blue. Okay. The mouth to nose fold definitely needs blue. We're going to minimize it though. We're going to be careful. Mouth to nose or nose to mouth, depending on which direction you're painting in, huh? We don't want much blue on the nose. I did get it up here, and I guess I could put just a titch of it right there. That'll be enough. The nose should be redder. Here under the lip area, that could be cooler. Yeah, I really was getting a little bit tired last night, and probably should have stopped sooner than what I did. So I've got some places here that don't entirely please me. Well, we'll see what we can do about those. So I don't like this because I didn't like the shape that was under there. I think I'll pull more of that blue up, and we'll come back at it with some reds first. So let's get this area over in here. I don't know quite what I want to do there. The cheek comes in there a little bit. Soften that edge. Soften some of this. And then let's squeeze out the brush and pull some of that color up. That's too much color there. Probably, though, it's because I need more red in the area. See, she's looking a little beat up here. Oh, dear. Okay, now, near the eyes. There's definitely more blue that shows up around the eyes. And so again, let's squeeze that out. Pull some up. A lot of the time I have white mixed in with my blue, but here I'm really needing a lot more depth, and I don't want to go too red. So, whoop, that's just a little bit. Squeeze it out. Definitely need to pull that up. This, I might kind of like that the way it is. Again, that's still wet enough. There's almost no pressure there. There's not a lot of working the paint into the paper and trying to mix the top layer with the underneath layer that's already dry. That's the very thing you don't want to do. Okay. Now that I've done that much, I can see that I'm going to wind up doing the eyes a lot darker. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pull a little blue here on the eyeball, because that's going to look too white later. All right. Now, that's nowhere near finished, but I can finally see it coming together. Let's go over here and work on our little girl's face now. This was our mix that had twin coral and some yellow. Gee, that looks really strong right there. Let's just really thin that out. Let's pre-wet this. And as I pre-wet this, some of this brown in the hair is going to start to merge in with the skin. I hope. Merge, merge, merge. Come on, where are you? Here, well, we'll just tease it a little bit. Coax it to come on down here a little bit. Need a soft edge there. We need a little bit more pinks in here. See, the brown already has a lot of yellow in it, so I'm mostly just picking up the coral here without the new gamboge in it. Because remember, burnt umber is, it's actually classified as a yellow. So this part of her forehead right here is more prominent. So I want to bring that up, and then I don't think I got her wet far enough down here. So what I want is, I want this area to recede just a little bit. So let's pull a little bit more color down here so that this is the prominent area. Again, I think watching this on a video, it may be hard for you to get how little pressure is going on here. Okay, so let's do a little work on her ears. It's better to do too little to the ears than to do too much. I see a lot of paintings where there is too much detail in the ears, the highlights and the shadows are too strong, and it looks like there's a plastic ear because it looks shiny because of the contrast, and it's it can be pretty awful. That's all I can say about that. This ear, I think this whole side needs to get darker. Oh, there's a place on here. See that little place where the jaw juts out? That's because I didn't get the background in there. I didn't do a good enough job with that background. It makes her face look misshapen. So I just happen to have some olive here. It ought to blend in. This is from the Amaryllis. There. And, you know, if this was bigger, a little spot that small wouldn't matter, but on a face this small, it can totally distort it. Okay, so I was going to put some shadow right here, and now I'm not yet. I tell you what, let's work on these hands. Let's see. Scoot her over like that. Oh, well, we need more red on the hands. I didn't even shape on the hands yesterday. So let's get this area. You can see where a vein hits right along here. Oops. Scoot all this down. Okay, yeah. You can see where there's a vein coming along there, and it kind of junctures in here with a knuckle, and then there's a shadow comes right on up on this finger. Okay, so let's take a shot at that. This is dry paper. I'm going to soften this end of that shadow. And then I'm going to come up over where that knuckle would be and onto the finger. It kind of does that. I probably didn't do it well enough. Let's weaken that. And then let's work on this. By the way, if you have any other portrait projects that you're working on, you know you can text pictures to me if you have questions, if you want any advice or critique or anything. Let's make that. And then there's a lighter area right there. And I'll just put some thinner paint and we'll come at it this, well, that's not thinner. I thought it was. Add some water to it. Thinner paint, we're going to come right up there, and then we're going to fade it out because I kind of don't want those running into each other right now. This really, I really need to soften this and pull more color this way. That's just a little, seems a little too strong to me. I think what's wrong is that some of the rest of this needs to be a little bit stronger. But see, that all kind of ran into each other because I didn't get it dry in between. And so it was wet enough that it didn't create a problem. So that was good. I planned it that way. Yeah, we know. All right, down here, I see a shadow, and it's kind of coming over this way and down. And of course, this crops off. We'll just run it on down this way. I see a shadow right here, and this separates and shows that this thumb is foreshortened. It's behind this knuckle area here. So that's a start on that. I think that's going to need a little more help, but we'll go with that much so far. I think that's too big right there. Let's just squeeze it out. Oops, I think it's going to require water. Get that wet, squeeze it out, pull it up. There we go. There it goes away, see? Now, paint might run into it, except that I don't think it's quite that wet. Let's see. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Oh, wait, though. That edge is pretty attention-getting, isn't it? It's a little much. Let's just dampen this area and give it a little blot. Oh, that'll be fine. There should be a shadow from the sleeve. I see a little bit of one. The shadow from the sleeve, though, can give you a sense of 3-dimension. That's pretty nice. We could let that get a little darker right there. Let's let that happen. Okay. I think I can go ahead and work here. I need more shadow along here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it this way. And remember, if you turn one thing, you turn the other. Don't make your mind, don't work your brain out with flipping one and not the other and trying to make sense out of it. Oh my gosh, that is just a terrible thing to have to do. And you'll get, if you do it successfully, fine, but you'll get tired and start making mistakes pretty soon. I mean, I have no experience with making that kind of mistake, of course, but I'm just guessing. You do believe that, right? Okay. Hey, that's not bad. This even came out in the right spot, and I wasn't even planning. Okay, let's pull a little more color right up here. In fact, I think we could do that. This area right up here again. See, I moved that way because it's easier to control my hand. Okay, that's better. So let's go back over here and look at grandmother. This is way better. Now it needs some more reds. She needs more reds. Particularly, there's a shadow right here under the glasses that I didn't get. That's one thing. And you really need that shadow under these light colored glasses. It really adds to the look. So there where it's touching her face, there's not much shadow. And then as it's not touching the face so much, the shadow gets bigger. And then the shadow comes out here and connects with this other area. And what do we do there? Well, we just soften an edge. See, I'm even going to put the blue in there separately. Okay, now this area does stand out more, but that little area right there is standing out way too much. See, right here where I'm pointing to with the brush, that's the best pointer I got, is the brush right there. So we're going to make a little bridge here. And none of these areas is totally as light as I'm showing them. This side of the lip is a little bit darker than that side. So I think what I'm going to do, well, I shouldn't have done that. I forgot about my other thing had to dry. So I'm putting a little bit more color in there, and then I'm going to pull up little bits of it. I actually know somebody that wants this, so I am really treating it like a real portrait, even though it's so tiny. I don't think I could have done a much larger one. I just wouldn't have felt comfortable with it because it's as fuzzy as it is. And we need a little bit of color right there. Okay, we'll just put a little more color in general, and then we will add a tiny bit of water. Might soften that edge a little bit right there, maybe. Okay, that's good. Okay. So let's put a little more shape in the ears. And ears are generally pretty red. And so we're going to, wow. Okay, I can't even see this rim right here when it gets down to this area. Here's the thing though, if you mess up on ears and you don't get quite a perfect likeness of someone's ears, as long as you get the general gist of them, it still looks like the person. On the other hand, if you get the nose or the mouth even just a little bit off, we know it. Okay, so that's getting more ear-like, and we need a little more shadow on this part of the ear. Okay. I think I'll put a little more red in the nose. And let's get a little more overall color in here. So I colored in that lightest spot, but I colored in the other area with it so that, oops, can't talk yet. Now that's a little too strong. In fact, that area is lighter there. It actually has more color right here than right under the fold. So I'll just have to redo that. I think I will pull just a little bit up here. You notice as I'm doing that with my brush, I'm pulling up, I am pulling the brush. I'm not shoving it this way because I don't want to beat up these little hairs and get them, the ends all bent. That would just be criminal. You hear? If you do that, you're criminal. I take brush maltreatment seriously if I catch you. Well, you don't have to worry about that now, do you? Okay. Well, let's build in a little more depth here. There are people who probably get this all in one whack, but I can't. I need to see what it looks like and judge it against everything else, and then see what else I need to do. So I put some down, and oh yeah, we need a little more color right there too. Just because that needed some color, they'll have to get blue too, but this will definitely get more blue, but I want some more shape right out here because I want to play up her eyes a little more. There we go. Okay, that'll look good eventually. You see how this all comes together a little bit at a time? There's a darker area right here. Well, I better work with that. See how I might do just one little thing and then go ahead and adjust it because this isn't all that wet, and it can start to dry before I get to work on it. Also, this area out in here, I want that to be darker. I think it kind of gets a little darker right there. You know, I look at this and I can sort of see it through the glare in the glasses. I keep squinting and trying to change my position. Like that's going to help me see through the glare. And I know that this area has more color on it, except that there is glare there. So we'll just put a little more color in there. I'm going to get the nostrils a little bit redder. See, I keep wiping off on this and forgetting to hold it in front of you where you can see. I think we could use a little bit more, not necessarily red, but depth, right in this area, right there. When I say right there, you can see where the brush is going better than I can point to it. So, there. Now, that lower lip is actually cooler. So let's pick up a little bit, just a tiny bit of this blue, and we're going to put it, whoa, I want it to be just barely there. Even that's too much. Let's pull a little bit up. You see how easy that is to adjust, though? You can put in more color or what you think would be about right, and then when you see it isn't, you could keep pulling it up until it looks right. It's just a great way to work. I haven't been doing that much. She's got a little more pink in her cheeks right here. I want to blend that in with other color. We're going to wind up getting darker. And you notice I'm still working very wet. I'm making a point that this is wet. I'm not putting little dry strokes in there. Right here. She's very, very thin. Because she's a Buddhist nun. And so she has this tremendous self-discipline that people like me that eat all the time don't have. Okay, see now that's a little too red. I'll come back with some blue, but I may want to pitch in a little bit of yellow somewhere. I really haven't decided. So, there's so much more to do here. I think, though, that for today, I think what would make me feel better, and I would feel more like I was getting closer to having her face right, is if I do something about this area right here. So I'm going to take a little more cerulean. I've forgotten. I didn't use cerulean. I think I used ultramarine there. Really can't tell that much. Here, don't pick up color with a round brush. Use your flat. Here, I'll add that in. And then what we're going to do is, let's just put a little burn umber in it. That'll, you could use black or neutral tint or anything. I'm using burn umber because it's right there. That's the fact of the business here. So she's got this shadow, see here in this thing. And it isn't very deep there, and then as it comes around in front, it gets deeper. And see, after I do this, I'm probably going to want to add more shadow in the face, because everything is relative. And actually, here you can see her cap actually comes out a little wider here. So the thing is that one should, don't forget to add that water at the right time. Duh. Okay. So see, I let that start to dry. I don't think you'll be able to tell it here, but yeah, you know, I'm making that go the wrong direction. I wasn't paying attention. Should go that way. And then here it does that. Well, I don't like this at all. I think I'm going to have to make the cap darker or the shadow lighter. Yeah. And I think the shadow is deeper here. Okay, why don't we dampen this? Because it's still damp. I mean, it's a little damp. We'll just dampen that and blot it. Make sure you don't have color on your paper towel when you do that. Oop! Well, that's too much. Okay, we'll take another shot at it. Apparently this whole area really is still shadowed. Like that. And then over here, it's rolled in a different way. Okay, that's better. See, that changes, just already having this blue cap up here changes how much red you put in. Because you can actually make her paler when she's red by adding blues around her. It depends how blue it is. Sometimes a blue can contrast and make the red seem redder, but a lot of the time it'll actually make the red seem weaker. Just depends how much where. Okay, that's it for today.